betrayed but not shocked. I already think the deal was in play. But here's the thing about this whole scenario: it's an illusion. It would be like me. It would be like the Spaniards when they encountered the native Indians for the first time. Okay, they can say, "Yeah, we're going to make deals with you. Here, look at this flintlock, and you can have that." And they don't know how to use it or nothing. And let us have some of your wives and all this, and we're going to do whatever we want. It's an illusion because we can't stop them anyway. They're making deals. They're laughing. They're making deals with us with technology we probably could kill ourselves with, or don't know nothing about, or can't even learn to even function, or even have the chemical means to even make the stuff. And on top of that, they're going to do whatever they want. So it's an illusion that they put in our brains that, yeah, we make a deal, it's okay, it's safe. And on top of that, they're going to do what they want, and they're going to take as many as they want and do with them what they want. And on top of that, they've been doing this for a long time. So it's not a matter of with their technology to get here, they would have found what they was looking for with the mutilations with animals, and they would have found what they're looking for with the abductions with people. So it's not about trying to find something. It's about a need. I think it's about a need. They need something from us, whether it be food or something. I don't know. We can only guess, and the powers that be are not going to tell us because they will let our minds work against us on this.
So well put.
Sounds reasonable to me. I don't disagree with anything James just said. I think that there's a lot that they will do everything that they can to make sure that any of us ever find out about. I've got a friend of mine that probably every 6 months to a year I get a phone call, and he will say, "Hey, I want to talk to you about this, or I want to talk to you about that," and it has everything to do with the Russians and the Chinese and weaponry to the UFO phenomenon. But I think that James is on the right track, and the thing that people have to realize is that for every little bit of technology they may give you, how much are they not? They're not putting all their cards on the table. They have cards that they're never going to show you. And the only saving grace to that is this, that there are those malevolent presences here, but there is a positive one also. It's not as pronounced, but I've had it come into my life. I basically meditated and come into contact with that, and it's just like the Merkaba that I talked about that our friend uses to say prayers of protection for the band. There is a positive side to it, and I think that everyone needs to just keep that in the back of their thinking. Because what would be the point of any of us even having this conversation if we really didn't believe that somewhere along the line, there's going to be a roller coaster ride and it's going to get nasty, but somehow there's going to be a positive end to it. I think all of us believe to one extent or another that has to be the case, or what's the sense of us being here?
That's a good point. It's you got to have hope. I deal with a lot of facts, and here's one fact. It's just a fact of nature. Everything you can see and everything around you, there is a negative and positive. It's just the nature of nature, and the key is to find the positive even in the negative. So even them being here and having power over us, we really don't have control over them. They're going to do whatever they want when they want to do it. And basically, they know that. All they got to do is just the aliens just sit back and let us be our own worst enemies, And the thing is, who knows how many different species? And with any species of anything, there's good ones and bad ones, and they all have their own agendas. And with that said, another thing, who knows? A day in our life might be a second in theirs. They might not. So their time frame, they might not even have. I don't even think time's irrelevant to them, really. So they're not on a stop clock. We got to hurry up and get this done by this. I don't think they have any restraints. They can just do whatever they want when they want to do it, and having that kind of technology is a lot of power, And we're here, and hopefully it doesn't end wrong, and I do believe in hope. We must have hope. We're still here living, so there's hope.
I think they look at us as nothing more than a
he's
bug.
Right. I agree. I think that when you're talking about aliens, no matter if they're interdimensional, extraterrestrial, and technology that's capable of going from one end of the galaxy to the other in a wormhole, you're talking about some pretty pronounced things. But there is a lighter side to that, and I think that we all need to keep that in the back of our thinking.
Well, I hope, all I wish is the happiness for us. I don't know. It's just maybe because after doing talk radio since 1976 and then from the mid 80s all the way onward, I've heard so many negative things about aliens that they're not here to serve man. They think we're nothing more than insects. It scares me because maybe there is some aliens here that, don't wish us any harm. Then again, I can't kind of think of that movie, the Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Who knows what's going on? None of us know. Even the people who are being abducted, people with MUFON, all they can do is surmise because we don't know. There's only one group of people that does know, but we don't know. So we're in the dark. So we can only guess and we can only surmise what's going on. And I hate to say it, guessing at it makes it so much worse than anything. I think
that somewhere along the line, every now and then you have, what's the word that they use for, the whistleblower. I think that every now and then you're going to have somebody that just basically has had enough, and they're going to come forth, and what they have to say is going to sound so horrifically outrageous that you're going to have people that are going to rear back like wounded lions and say, oh, well, that can't be. Just like we talked about, what's that lady that Joyce? She talks about the bases
Mary
by
Joyce.
Fort Bragg under the underground.
Mary Joyce.
Yeah, Mary Joyce. Mary Joyce talks about that at length, and people would not want to believe that something like that is real. But, having been a cop for 23 years, I can tell you that there are things that go on out there that I remember dealing with jury pools who have basically, when I had people who I knew I had enough evidence, I thought I had enough evidence to get a conviction, and these were some pretty horrific acts. There were people in that jury that because those acts were so horrific, they did not want to believe that someone was capable of something like that. And so if you have an alien race that's, or an interdimensional race or a combination thereof, that's basically perpetrating cordon bleu on the human race, how many people would want to say that that's really happening? How many people would want to admit that, Gary?
I think if it was real, let's say it was real, and we had proof it was real, I think people would have a hard time sleeping after that. They're going to be so paranoid. And again, that's maybe why we don't hear anything from the government, because I don't think the people worldwide could handle the truth.
I don't think they could either, and I think the problem is that then that begs the question, if the government has kept that from you, are you going to trust the government to protect you? I don't think so.
Well, I look at this, okay? We have the, ex-governor of Minnesota going around, which I actually wish he would have ran for president. But, he did it on a show he had for a while. He did a thing about FEMA camps. And I remember watching that, and that scared the you-know-what out of me like you wouldn't believe. I mean, in this one thing, they showed thousands and thousands and thousands of, what I call disposable caskets.
Polycarbonate coffins.
Yeah, I didn't want to say that. But they and after the show aired, guess what? They went back a few days later, and they were all gone. What's that tell you? Okay, we got caught.
Oh, I'm sure it was just a coincidence.
Yeah, I think it was actually the next day after it aired, they were gone. But the thing is, why would FEMA need tens of thousands of coffins? Why do they need FEMA camps that they're not using? It's been sitting for 10, 20 years. It's like maybe protection down the road was something could happen. They're prepared. And that's what scares me.
Some of those internment camps that they used for the Nisei during World War II have been revitalized, so to speak. They've turned the power back on. They've gone in and reconditioned them, unfortunately. But I'm sure that's just another meaningful coincidence.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I remember, things about weird numbers with your mailbox and all that stuff, or a certain color paint on your curb by your mailbox for some reason. I mean, it's a lot of weird things. The reason why I say this, I used to have a guy on it, used to be with the DOD for like 13, 14 years. He said enough stuff that really scared me, Tom. Really scared me. More off air than what he said on air.
Well, Ronald Reagan had a joke that he used to tell, and I really enjoyed it since he was the president at the time. But he said, the one thing that really scares people is to have someone show up on their front porch and they say, "Hi, I'm from the government and I'm here to help you."
Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay. Well, then your first thing, are you with the IRS? Oh, no. With the DOD.
Well, I had remember a number of years in a census, and they were actually getting up on your porch with that longitude and latitude meter.
Oh yeah.
Remember they were doing that, and I remember that one lady showed up, and she walked right through. I have a wrought iron gate in front of my driveway in front of my house. She walked right through it. She walked right past the no trespassing, dogs on premise sign, and walked right up the front porch. And my wife looked at me and said, "Who is that woman?" I said, "Honey, she's from the government and she's here to help us." She didn't think it was very funny, but oh well.
I don't know. I don't know. That is it. I don't know what's going to happen. I use the word "I don't know" too much. This is like I used to use the word "you know" too much. But the thing is, if anything's bad, it's going to happen. It's going to happen in the next 6 months. That's my gut feeling from talking to. I have connection with people out there because I do the show, so I get these emails. I know some people that are with various forms of different type governments, and they tell me some things in confidence, and it scares me that things, if it doesn't go right here in the next few weeks or the next month, who knows what can happen. And that's the whole point. Maybe these FEMA camps might come in handy because they're talking right now on the news. There's certain people out there talking about civil war if certain things happen. I mean, our country is really messed up right now, and that's all I can say. We need to go on break. Tom, can you hang around for the next half an hour to the end of the show?
I'd be happy to.
Okay, well, go get another cup of Java if you can do what I just did. We'll be back with Tom, James, and myself on Night Dreams Talk Radio. By the way, check out our website, www.nightdreamstalkradio.com. Scroll down, look at Metatron Power and Light. You can see who we're talking to. Anyway, we'll be back in 2.
Selfish and cruel since his youthful days in school. His siblings he never did treat well. His self-centered bent was his dark side lament, with a focus on hypnotize and spell. He memorized laws to help sharpen his claws for a future for which he was bent. The time would surely come when for office he would run and claim he was just heaven sent.
Another politician has just taken center stage. He tells all the people that he loves them so. He comes on like a sage, says with him they should engage. A false prophet empty